You're watching under contract. We had a little delay there, did we, Lou? All right. Hey, we're on. It's live, right? It's live. It's not pre-recorded. So you're watching Under Contract Live. It's Wednesday. It's 3 o'clock, and we come to you each and every week with world-class guests to help connect the dots in real estate. Today is no different. We have national speaker Leah Turner coming on in a few minutes, and I'll give her the proper introduction once we come back from commercial, so you don't want to miss that. Today we're talking about overruled. Objection! Objection! Lou! Objection!
Your Honor,
order in the court. Order in the court. Hey, we're going to be talking with Leah about overcoming objections, right? Not only recognizing them, but how to deal with them. Don't lose a sale. Tune in here in just a few minutes because we're going to help you kind of see, maybe have a different perspective about what an objection really is, and then, of course, how to overcome it so you can move forward and get that sale that we all want to get, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to talk about just a couple things before we go to break because it's a kind of a cool day. It's kind of bittersweet, sad, fun, all that good stuff because there's only one more show, Lou, here in this studio. So I'm going to miss you guys as we move to the new studio.
I'm going to miss you, too. You're breaking my heart right now.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother.
I'm starting to tear up.
Now, you know, we joke around a little bit and we laugh about that, but it does kind of get emotional as with anything when you spend time together working as a team for, you know, over a duration of time. But I want to thank these guys at IPD Media and especially the owner of this company who's been so gracious in allowing me to share this studio for so long. I really owe him a lot. Personal friend David Villa, president and CEO of IPD, and also his wife Diana Villa, his partner in this business. So I want to thank them as well, give them a shout out. And but the good news is, hey, we have a whole new set, so it'll be a different look when we come back in a couple of weeks. We'll be in this studio next week, and you won't want to miss that because we have Sarah and Kyle Hughes. They are brokers that are expanding at a really rapid rate out of San Antonio, Texas. They're coming all the way from Texas to be on the show live in the studio next week. I'm really excited to have them. And then the week after, we'll be in our new studio. So a couple of things that are upcoming. You know, we ran a clip last week from Damon John promoting the Florida Realtor Expo that will be in Orlando in August. We're going to have a booth there. It's booth number 229. Make sure that you come there because we're going to do some really cool stuff for all of the realtors that stop by. We're going to give you a 15-second free, we're going to produce it for free, commercial, and then we're going to send it to you so that you can put it on your website, help you with your marketing and branding. We'll also give you the opportunity to have a selfie as the co-host of Under Contract. We'll have the set up. We'll be doing live interviews there as well. It'll be a blast, so make sure that you see us there. So we're going to go to a quick commercial break. Don't go anywhere if you've ever had an objection. We'll see you right back here on Under Contract.
I have been using Serial Sales Pro for a little more than 2 years now.
I highly recommend it to anybody who's either just getting in sales. I don't care if you've been in sales 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. Doesn't matter who you are, where you are.
The shorter videos allows me to keep my concentration and also gives me more of a chance to actually apply that knowledge.
I've learned how to close deals better and be more effective in my communication with these customers.
You know, I think what Serial Sales Pro does for me, it just keeps me sharp, keeps my head sharp.
My income has literally tripled in the last 3 years.
This year, I'm already slated to make about 50 grand more than I made last year.
I've doubled my income from what I made last year.
It's definitely increased my income, and a lot of that came from what I learned right from Serial Sales Pro.
It's really turned my whole sales career around.
It keeps me ready to get to the next level.
So if you're not plugged in to it, get involved right away.
Let's face it, in today's market, video is the new curb appeal. Even if somebody drives by your listing, the first thing they're going to do is pull their phone out, take a look at that property online. Whether you're selling a $200,000 home in Central Florida, or a multi-million-dollar estate in Palm Beach, Florida, or San Francisco, California, or maybe you need some aerial footage for a site acquisition, email me today and let's get started. Robbie at rmtmedia.net.
Hey, we're back live. I'm here with national speaker and trainer, Miss Leah Turner. And Leo, as I read your intro and bio, because normally this is done like before you walk out on stage and things like that. But here's what I want you to do, because it's probably gonna make you blush and all that stuff. I just want you to give, like a little, strong thing as I read it to really really kind of put you on the spot.
Thanks.
So,
I love that. I love stuff like that.
So, Miss Leah Turner is sales coach, trainer, speaker, engaging, educational, and always entertaining. Leah is sought-after speaker and has spoken at numerous international, national, and regional conferences, including International Builders Show and the Southeast Builders Conferences. And as a sales coach and trainer, Leah has worked with thousands, how many thousands, of new home sales professionals across the country, teaching them ways to improve and enhance their presentation and increase sales. And I can't tell you what an honor it is to have Leah today in the studio, especially here live with me. Leah, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Dave. Can I hire you to do my intro everywhere I
Absolutely.
go? You really did a great job. I
Thank
appreciate
you. Thank
that.
you.
Awesome.
The cool thing is I really don't mind doing. Like, I would love to be able to do that. I'm gonna need $100,000 per episode. But, no, I'm just
You're
kidding.
worth every penny. Worth every penny.
Thank you. We kind of had fun with the opener, and before Leah came on, I shared with her that, hey, this is it's a professionally produced show, but at the same time, it's fun, right? It's like a radio show. We entertain, we educate, we do all those things, and I want to thank you for helping make this show successful. Remember to like it and share it with your friends on Facebook, and a lot more exciting things to come here soon in the near future. But I want to jump right in. I don't want to waste any time because we have a very short amount of time.
Yes.
And we're covering something that is extremely important today.
Correct.
Which basically is a point we get to often in sales after we meet a client where the sale comes to a stop.
Correct.
And that's the last thing we want, obviously. So we're talking about today overcoming objections, being able to recognize those. And I'll start by asking you this, Leah. I mean, sometimes I think that, we start to do our demonstration and interview a customer, and something might come up, and it may be a concern. Is it really an objection? Does it really mean they're not interested? I mean, how do you recognize, first of all, if it's a true objection to move forward, and then we'll talk about ways to deal with it if it is.
Perfect. That's a great question, because actually there are a lot of different circumstances that can happen in your sales office that are not necessarily objections. And a lot of times salespeople confuse them and think that they are objections, but they're truly not. And the first is, a lot of times you will get your buyers giving you observations. For example, I could say, Dave, you're wearing a blue shirt.
Right.
Hey, it's raining outside. Now, did I say, ooh, Dave, I hate blue shirts. Oh, I can't stand rain. No, I'm just making an observation.
Right.
These homes seem close together.
Right.
Or this is a corner lot. That's not an objection. It's an observation.
Right. Like in our community, we have this big, huge cell phone tower that sits nearby. So people will often come up and they go, oh, what is that? That's a cell phone tower. Was that radio? What is it? It doesn't necessarily mean that it's an objection.
Correct.
Right?
If it's an objection, they're going to let you know, right? So that's the first thing. Just let the observation go out there, and you don't need to respond to it as an objection.
Okay.
The second thing you might get is an excuse. Have you ever had somebody say, you know what, Dave, I didn't bring my checkbook today. Or I gotta sleep on it. How about this one? I gotta go home and sleep on it.
Right.
Those are excuses.
By the way, that's when I say just put your head down, put your head on the desk. I'll be back in 5 minutes. But go ahead.
But that's an excuse, not necessarily an objection. But they're basically telling you not ready to make a move today. They're drawing the line in the sand. So when you get an excuse, you have to. What would you say if they said, "I'm not ready to purchase today"? Would you say, how about let's set an appointment for you to come back?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Right. Or I didn't bring my checkbook today. How about get in your car and go get it? Whatever that response is, they're giving you an excuse, which is basically saying, I need a little more time before I make that decision. So again, not an objection.
Okay.
The third thing that could happen is there's a condition. For example, if I say to you, my credit's really bad, or I have a house to sell. Those are actually conditions. They're not objections, but they're conditions that are stopping them from moving forward today, correct?
That is correct.
And when they do that, that's a wonderful opportunity for you to say, hey, let me introduce you to our preferred lenders who could perhaps help you with that credit issue.
Yeah, I think the conditions are probably one of the easiest things to find solutions for,
right.
obviously.
And you get to be the hero.
Yes,
because you get to help them work through that condition so that they are indeed able to purchase the home. So those, my friend, are not objections. So
Okay.
what is an objection then? What is an objection?
Are you asking me?
Well, actually, I got to put my glasses on. After you hit a certain age, an objection.
An objection, and I'll just share kind of my own personal, opinion because, for so many years in sales and in the car business,
Yes.
there's you just experience it every day. You
All
gotta,
day
you gotta
long.
figure that out. But, one of the ways that has helped me to kind of think about an objection, and you can share with me your thoughts, but is I look at it as the customer is really saying, hey, Dave, I would really like to move forward, but I'm going to need some help getting past this.
Correct. They are presenting you with a problem and looking to you to provide the solution.
Right.
And as a real estate professional or a new home sales professional, that really is your role. So we have to start thinking about objections like, wow, I got an objection.
Right.
The worst buyers are the ones that don't give you any objections. They say nothing. You can't do anything.
Right.
But Webster defines an objection as a reason or argument offered in disagreement, opposition, refusal, or disapproval. And salespeople, do we like to hear any of those?
I don't like any of those terms.
No, they're horrible. We don't like those things. We want to fix it. So, but if you can start thinking like you just said, don't look at it. I want you to make a paradigm shift. I want you to look at objections as your opportunity to solve a problem. And once you do that, you're not going to be fearful of the objection.
Awesome, awesome. So, okay, so we get an objection. We look at it that way. Maybe we lower our, after listening to the show and your advice, we kind of lower that a little bit and we go, okay, we recognize the objection. Now we're like, okay, this is an opportunity for us to, help solve it and whatnot. But how do you move forward? Like, what are the things kind of step by step that you would need to do from there?
Well, I'm going to share with you a 4-step process that works in overcoming objections both professionally and personally. Truly. But before I share
I'm
that
going to need
with
that from my wife.
yeah, wife, kids, co-workers. But before I do that, I wanted to share with you the ways that I think most salespeople try to overcome objections that are wrong. So if you're doing this, please don't do it anymore. The first thing that they do is if they're presented with an objection, they ignore it. La, 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 I didn't hear that. It'll go away. Objections do not go away.
No.
So number one, do not ignore an objection. The second thing that I've seen salespeople do is when they get an objection, they get real defensive. You know what? This shower seems small. No, it's not. These secondary bedrooms.
I love that one.
These secondary bedrooms aren't big enough. Yes, they are. So I've literally seen that happen where people get defensive. Now, how do you think your prospect's going to feel about that?
Yeah, that's
Not very happy.
No.
The third thing that I see a lot of salespeople do is once they're presented with the objection, they immediately try to fix it. And I would say that 99.99% of people try to fix it. But you can't do that because you haven't gotten to the root
Especially
of
if
the
they're a
objection.
guy, because us guys, we like
You
to
got
fix
to
it.
fix
You
everything,
gotta
right?
fix it.
You don't ask for directions, and you just want to fix objections. What's wrong with you
I'm
guys?
sorry.
The fourth thing that I've seen is when they have been faced with an objection, and I know none of our viewers would ever do this, but I've actually seen salespeople lie.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Yeah, that's the one that, yeah.
Well, hey, I know we're close to an airport. Am I going to hear any noise from the plane? Oh, no, don't you worry about that. And then 2 seconds later, a 747 comes sweeping by.
Right.
So
right.
no lying.
No
Those are
lying.
the things not to do. So what do we do? How do we overcome objections? 4 steps. 4 steps.
Okay.
And the first step, which I think is almost the most important step, is to empathize. When you are faced with an objection, empathize. And empathizing means putting yourself in their shoes. It also means I hear you. I hear what you're saying.
Right.
So it could be something as simple as, I hear what you're saying. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. And what that does is it kind of neutralizes the objection, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Everybody's
Absolutely.
calmer. You're not getting defensive. You're going, I understand where you're coming
Hey,
from.
I get it. Yeah.
I hear you. That if you take nothing away from this show, please start doing that because that neutralizes.
That's a biggie.
It neutralizes it. So once you've neutralized it, the second step that you need to do is you need to clarify. Clarify, and you do that by asking questions. Because a lot of times when we get an objection, we're looking at it or hearing it from our perspective. And we're not necessarily understanding where our buyer is coming from. So when you clarify, you say, okay, I understand what you're saying. Tell me more. What is it specifically about the kitchen that you don't like? What is it about the home site that's bothering you? Tell me more. Start to engage with your prospect, and then they're going to give you more information so that you can go to step number 3, which is at this point, you offer a solution. Because now you've shown empathy, the neutralization of this objection. You've done your digging so you know where they're coming from. Now you're able to provide a solution. Now, you're in new home sales. Is every solution going to work?
No.
No. But guess what? Aren't you glad if it doesn't work and they go, you know what, Dave, that is not going to work at all. What are you going to do? Well, let's go look at another home.
Right.
Right?
Exactly.
So you'd really rather know at that point before you get further into the presentation.
Absolutely.
So after you've offered the solution, the 4th step is to confirm that it is no longer an objection. The solution that I shared with you, Dave, do you think that will work for you in this kitchen?
Nice.
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 If they say
See,
yes, awesome.
And what that really is that's a trial close. You know, I was so fortunate when we met. I went to your training, how to earn the right to ask for the sale, right? And we talked about the fact that you talked about the fact I listened.
And you're a great lister. I appreciate it. He sat in the front row, too. I love Dave.
Front row tickets. Yeah. Just stuck on scalpers. So anyway, you know, the cool thing was, though, that, you know, you talked about the fact that, you know, there are so many salespeople, not even just in new home sales, but in general, that really never ask for the sale. And part of that is that discomfort that maybe, and I think what it boils down to, and you share your thoughts, but is that they really don't feel they have the right to because they probably haven't earned it.
They haven't earned it. You're exactly right. And one of the reasons that they haven't earned it is they haven't overcome the objections.
Exactly.
They haven't overcome the objections. They haven't done the right amount of qualifying and trial closes and listing and all of that stuff. But with the objections, that's why, as you said, this is really a type of trial close. You've got to confirm it's no longer an objection, because at that point, it's almost like you're gathering that information. Okay, you love the home. We worked through that issue. Now you've got that in your back pocket. So when you get down and do your recap, you're able to say, these are the things that work. Boom, 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 boom. I have seen, if you don't confirm that the objection's no longer an objection, you get to the closing table, or you get to the point where you say, hey, let's move forward with this. And they say, you know what, Dave, I love everything, but I still can't get over the size of that pantry.
Right.
That's the objection, and that's why I call objections bombs, because if you don't defuse them, they're going to blow up in your face.
Right, right. And you know, I'm going to throw something else out there, something that I feel, I don't know, I always feel like if I do this, and again, share your thoughts, but I always feel like if I do this, it also helps, is that I like to take the customer off the hook. And what I mean by that is, like, you know, I had someone recently that came in and they were like, it was all about the price per square foot. You know, they had the calculator. It was boom, 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 what's a price per square foot?
Right.
You
They're
know,
probably
like,
an accountant or an engineer, right?
So one of the things I did, and this goes really right with what you said in number one, kind of the empathize type of situation, but I'll be like, hey, that's a great question. And actually, you know what? That's a great place to start. That's kind of where I started when I was looking at, you know, different models that we made and things like that. So I think, you know what I mean? So you kind of, you allow them to, for it to be okay.
Yes, and that also does a great thing. It starts to develop rapport. It starts to develop trust, and that's really the ultimate goal. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. So exactly, acknowledge that that was important to him, walk him off the ledge, so to speak, and then be able to talk value and other things that kind of get them away from that whole price per square.
Exactly, because once they get to a point where they're just comfortable in your presence, which is really part of our big goal in the beginning, then now we get to actually show what we have, right? Because
exactly.
Most of the time, I think in a lot of cases, the salespeople who maybe aren't quite as welcoming of objections, let's say, you know, they never get the opportunity to really share the value in the place. And it almost is a disservice to the client, because the client was never exposed to what we really had to offer.
Right.
Because we couldn't take that wall down initially for them to
Yes, and you need to do that. And I appreciate what you said, too, about salespeople being a little apprehensive about objections. But I think if you look at it this way, I have a client that says, I love objections. Bring them on all day. They're like the little breadcrumbs that Hansel and Gretel leave to make their way home to the castle.
It's a huge buying signal.
It is. It is. If they don't say anything, you don't have the opportunity to overcome anything. If they're objecting, that means they are interested.
Right.
And it's your job as a sales professional to work through that problem with them to find them the right home. So bring the objections on. And then another tip to kind of stop objections before they even happen. When you're talking with your clients, ask them, what are your 3 must-haves in this new home or in this resale? What are your 3 must-haves, most important things? And if they share those 3 things with you, and then you get to a home and it's got, you know, the large kitchen, the bonus room, and the 3-car garage, which would, let's say, are the 3 things, and then all of a sudden they start saying, the secondary bedroom's kind of small. And then you say, I totally appreciate that. Empathy. However, when we were talking earlier, you mentioned A, B, and C as being your hot buttons. Are you now saying the secondary bedrooms are important? If that's the case, we can certainly look at other homes.
Sure.
And then that kind of helps put them back into focus on, you know what, you're right. I'm not sleeping in those little rooms anyway. Who cares?
Right.
So, you know, and let me ask you as a new home sales professional, is there any home out there that is going to be exactly 100% what the buyer's looking for.
Never.
There's
never.
always a little bit of compromise, right?
Absolutely, 1,000,000%.
So if you find out, I understand that it's not going to be 100%, but these are your 3 primary must-haves, that's going to help you work through the objections as well.
Yep, absolutely. And there were a couple things that stood out to me just now. One is that I think about having that initial consultation with the client when they arrive and you start building that rapport and asking for those 3 things. There's a couple other benefits, I believe, and one is that I kind of think about is if you have a multiple parties, like if you have a couple, when you bring out those 3, sometimes the 3 might be different, and you
Probably
can
oftentimes.
yeah, and they didn't even realize it.
Yes.
And you can maybe get that settled before it, instead of having that hidden objection that one of them won't speak up at the end.
Exactly.
Because they really needed something different. So that's one thing that I thought of. And then the other is that if I nail down the 3 most important things, as salespeople, a lot of times we like to sell, right?
Yabba dabba dabba, talk.
Little
Yes.
of this, right?
Let's talk, more listening.
Right. So now I've got 3 things I know that I can hammer the message on and then kind of shut up, right? And see where we go. Because they might be, if they're the 3 things that are most important, that might just be all I need.
It totally could be. And also, you bring up a good point. We talked about it at the workshop last month. But a typical home buyer in their lifetime will buy between 4 and maybe 7 homes in their
Right.
whole lifetime. You guys who are in sales do this all day long.
Right.
So they're not necessarily, they don't understand the process. It's your role to do that qualifying, that discovery, to be the new home sales expert or the general real estate expert and lead them on this journey. So don't be afraid to ask the questions and qualify and discover.
You talked about maybe using me to give your intro.
Yes.
Why don't I just use you to come and, kind of take a turn for me when I get in trouble and, I just send you in and go, hey, watch this. Huh? How do you think about that objection? Huh? I got Leah. What's up?
I would be happy to do that. I would be happy to do that.
No, that was awesome conversation. And I'm going to ask Lou real quick. Lou, do we have a caller on the line? Okay, awesome. Can you bring on the caller? And Leah, this is no stranger to you on the phone as well. So let's bring on Mike Findlay. Mike, are you with us?
I'm with you.
Hi, Mike.
Mike,
Hi, guys.
I've got Leah Turner here in the studio as well, and she's saying hello. I don't know if you have the TV set on or not, but Mike, let me just introduce you, Mike. You are the president of the SMC, the Sales and Marketing Council for the Tampa Bay Builders Association, and you guys, not only you guys, but I'll be there as well, enjoying it. But you're putting on a huge event, and I wanted to give you the opportunity to share what that's about for realtors. I know it happens tomorrow morning at the fairgrounds. Why don't you talk about it for just a moment?
Absolutely. This is one of our biggest, if not the biggest, realtor and builder events of the entire year for the Builders Association.
Yes.
It's the 2017 Realtor Builder Expo.
That's awesome.
And it is, our theme is Get Your Game On. So it's a sports theme. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, get your game on. And, the cool thing is that, I was lucky or fortunate enough to be there last year for this event. And I thought it was just super cool because not only did I get the opportunity to shake hands with about 1.6 thousand million realtors that were in the building, but it really gives the realtor an opportunity to get around and discover all the builders in one spot instead of having to travel around and do all the research. They kind of can get a real leg up, as well as making just tons of connections, because it's not just builders there. You have mortgage representatives, you have titles, you have agencies, you have insurance, you have a lot going on there, right?
Yeah, there's a ton of services, not only builders, up to about 40 different builders in the market, which is all in one place. You can't even find a website that does that for you. So you have that first and foremost, and then you do have some affiliates and different services that are very important to realtors.
Yeah, that's awesome. I really can't wait till tomorrow, because some of the audience is aware of this, but my wife is joining us in real estate here in the next week or so, and she'll be at the event. So it's going to be an awesome opportunity for her to kind of get her feet wet and see what these connections and what the Builder Expo is all about. Well, Mike, I'm not going to keep you. I just want to thank you for coming on today and sharing that with our audience.
Yes, sir, it is. Tampa Fairgrounds, make sure that they use the Martin Luther King Boulevard entrance. It's free parking, free food. The ticket is $10. They can get that online at the TampaRealtors.org. They can find that there, or they can buy a ticket at the door. So it should be a great event. And they can also get discount tickets for an event that we have coming up that is geared towards realtors, and they can get basically it's almost half price. So lots of stuff going on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mike. I'll look forward to seeing you at the event.
Bye, Mike. It's a great event.
All right. Bye, Leah. Bye, guys.
See you
Thank
later.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Yeah, and another cool thing is realtors walk out of there, I think, with a couple grand worth of swag, right?
You got a lot of goodies, exactly.
Yeah,
Every builder will be giving out tchotchkes and different things. If you are in real estate, it's like the must-go-to event.
Yeah, so don't let that $10 sweat you because your ROI is huge on that day. So that's so cool.
Exactly.
So Lou, do we have? It's time for our featured realtor of the week. A little drum roll. The featured realtor of the week never knows who they are, by the way.
Ooh,
and
exciting.
you might recognize this name. This is a local realtor.
Yay!
Okay, put it up there. Miss Ellie Lambert.
Yay, Ellie Lambert.
Ellie Associates, PA. And I'm going to put the rest of Ellie's contact information. The cool thing about this, and this rarely happens, but Ellie, I have known Ellie for, probably close to 30 years. And she is one of the most amazing people that I've ever known. And she's actually not only just kicking tail out there in the real estate world, she was on a featured on ABC News just the other morning, and she's just doing amazing things.
Awesome.
So I want to congratulate my dear friend Ellie Lambert for Realtor of the Week.
Miss Ellie.
So she'll be excited when she sees that, I'm sure. So
great.
Congratulations, Ellie, and we'll get the rest of your contact info out there, because if you're looking for a house in the Tampa Bay area, you're looking for a general real estate agent, I think she may even do some commercial real estate, reach out to Ellie, and highly recommend it. It's been a staple in this community forever, so appreciate that. So now is the time, Leah. We're right on time. We have like 1 minute to go. Is that amazing?
Oh my God, that is timing.
So we accomplished everything we needed to.
Awesome.
Kind of. I mean, I want to spend more time with you, of course, because you're like amazing. But we got through the interview. Now we're gonna have to do the traditional. What we do here, Leah, is on set. Oh, yeah. Whoa. Glad I found that paper in there.
Well, there's so many papers. I'm surprised.
I had this note. Thank you. So one of the things that I did want to ask you about was, I know you have something special upcoming. So tell us a little bit about that.
Real briefly, because I know
we're
No,
go right ahead.
Okay. The Southeast Builders Conference is coming up, and if you are in new home sales of any sales and marketing capacity, or even general real estate, this is a must. It's a 2 days worth of education, trade shows, etc. And I'm going to be speaking with John Palumbo and Meredith Oliver at the Super Sales Rally, which is going to be held on July 27th, which is a Thursday.
Okay.
In Orlando.
I might be there.
Yay. It's going to be at the Gaylord Palms Hotel. The rally is from 1:30 to 3:30. It's called Heart of a Winner, Soul of a Champion.
Woo!
Heart of a winner, soul of a champion. So come on out. It's 2 hours. It's motivational. We get you pumped up. We get you making more sales. And we're super excited. You can go to sebcshow.com to register and to get more information.
Yep, and we'll make sure that we have that up in the comments later. I'll put it in there.
Thank you.
And I'll also make available. Let me ask you this real quick, because I want to give your contact info, because if realtors are out there watching, they need a little bit more, or they even maybe just want the notes from today's show. How do they reach you, Leah?
They can reach me via email, which is Leah Turner, and I'll post it on the comments, but it's Leah Turner,
we'll get it up there.
TTC@gmail.com. And my cell phone, if they want to call, 407-709-6816. I am the sales coach and trainer with Melinda Brody and Company, so you can check out that website at melindabrody.com. And there's a lot of information on our coaching, our training, one-on-one coaching, everything you could find to help you be a better salesperson. So please feel free to take a look at that or reach out to me in any way. I'd love to hear from you.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm so glad that we got everything in. I thought I had covered everything, and I missed that last part,
That's
but I'm glad that we discovered
We got it. So what's the fun? What do we do now?
Here's what we do. We're closing out the show. So
Okay.
I always close out the show every single time the same way, with a little hashtag boom, and we're going to just let loose of these papers. Because,
I'm loving it.
By the time we end the show, it's time to just let it go.
It's time for a glass of wine.
Right.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Hashtag boom.
Boom!